The Tea Party movement, they have yet another response to the President's State of the Union address. We're standing by. We'll carry Michelle Bachmann, the Republican Congresswoman from Minnesota, will carry her speech live, her response. But let's discuss what we've just heard. Piers Morgan is still with us. Piers, you heard Paul Ryan, the Republican, say if the United States doesn't take action now, we will face the same economic disaster that Greece, Ireland, the United Kingdom, other European countries face. Does he have a point there?
He has a good point, and he made it well. There was a good response. But here's the big problem for the Republicans, it seems to me. We now await a second response from the other half of their party, the Tea Party. And you've got President Obama, who, since I've been in New York, which is from the end of October, has gone from 42% in the polls to 55% in his personal rating, which is a huge, significant jump. And at the precise moment when you would have expected the Republicans to come together and ride up against him, they seem to be more split than ever. And I don't know how that's going to play out, but if I was a Republican, I would be really worried that I've now got two speeches responding to a pumped-up, confident president, and I would think this isn't going to work for us. You know, David, we're going to dissect the official Republican response as opposed to Michelle Bachmann's unofficial Tea Party or Republican response.
Yeah, but the other way it could go, Piers, is that the two could reinforce each other. They can actually get two bites at the apple. You know, be a shotgun approach. They can shoot with two barrels.
But do you think that will be effective come a proper election against Obama?
I think that the more they make their case, and that, you know, Ryan gives a short speech, she gives a short speech, adds a lot of numbers in, you know, puts some flesh on the bones. I thought his speech was lofty. I actually thought it by the standards of these speeches, it was pretty darn good, these responses.
Paul Ryan's speech.
It's Paul Ryan's speech. But it was very lofty, and I think she'll come back in and, yeah, really go for the guy.
Put a bit of tea onto the party.
Exactly.
it's a lot harder, Eric, to just look into a camera, no audience, no applause, no standing ovations, to just read a speech from a teleprompter.
Particularly when there's no one in the room with you. I mean, the good news for all of these speeches is that by sometime tomorrow afternoon, they'll all have been forgotten. Historically, that's the case. But at least, I mean, the whole time, the best we could say about Paul Ryan, or maybe the worst, is he was no Bobby Jindal from last year, which was probably the low bar for responses to the State of the Union. I would just go back to Pierce's point, though, that looking through the transcripts of these speeches now, I do think you're going to see, I was a bit concerned with Michelle Bachmann, but actually transcript-wise of the two, I like her speech a lot more.
Why?
It's shorter, it's to the point, and it deals actually into the nuts and bolts issues, taken out of the lofty rhetoric.
And let's also be honest. Look, you know, we're the only ones broadcasting her speech, so therefore validating that response. And so the real question would be, what will folks actually remember going forward? I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to see the Tea Party, Republican Party. I mean, they're not a party. The Tea Party, Republican Party, continue to push the GOP. They're not on the Democratic side in terms of pushing them. On the point about Paul Ryan's speech, this is important. The change, I believe, in terms of on the deficit will really take place on the city, the county, and the state level. Because when you begin to have folks declaring bankruptcy, that's going to force the American people to realize they cannot keep asking for everything. The benefit of this financial crisis we've been in, it has forced Americans to realize you can't keep buying houses and boats and cars and all different things. If you don't have the money, you simply can't pay for it. That, to me, is what's going to happen. When the cities start saying, look, we started in Canada, New Jersey, we see Governor Jerry Brown, that's going to force Congress to say, they're doing locally, you must do it nationally.